You're listening to I Like That Story, podcast number 30, The Meager Mother. Today's story brought to you by Evolution Consulting, nationwide image professionals for styling, speaking, and stage. This woman was small, petite, mild-mannered, and reserved. If I remember, she was a librarian and fit every bit of the stereotype. I figured her to be somewhere in her early 70s. Her handwriting was neat, her clothing conservative, tailored, and tidy. She was in my office planning her funeral, something responsible and organized, another thing that matched her persona to the letter. There were only two things that stood out to me in that appointment. One was that her husband had divorced her in the early 70s, which was a rare thing, leaving her with 2 children to raise by herself. The children were now in their 40s, and it was hinted that they didn't have the best of relationships. The second thing came from a question I sometimes will ask to get to deeper themes. I said, "What would you like your children to know?" Then this quiet, reserved woman clenched her fists and shouted that it wasn't my fault. Apparently, the children grew into adults, resenting their parents' divorce and still holding her accountable after all of those years. You know, that's pretty common. We parents, we really believe that if we try hard enough, we will do all the right things. Our kids will never have any issues or problems. But we can't really deliver on that belief, and this lingering seed of guilt is sometimes exploited by adult children as excuses for disappointing lives. A friend of mine once told me these words of truth. He said, "Jeff, you may not have been a good parent, but you were good enough." That's a quote I use both to apologize to my children and to remind them that they have enough to succeed. And what about her adult children? Well, any kind of story that involves a person who was hurt as a child but refuses to heal and spends the rest of their days complaining about that hurt, well, that's not a story I would like to read, and it especially is a story that I refuse to live. Thank you for listening. As you can tell, I believe in the power of story. Story can change lives and encourage people to overcome obstacles and live lives of peace and passion and prosperity, whatever that might look like to them. And story also changes business. It clarifies mission, it attracts good people and good customers, and offers a culture that encourages growth in many measurable and also unmeasurable ways. To find out more about what I write or where I speak, you may find me on my website, ilikethatstory.net. I'm Jeff Gould. Until next time, God bless.